They call Inoue the monster for a reason. 24-0 with 21 knockouts, he has been tearing through the lighter weight divisions, and we have seen this man put his power on display time and time again. Now he has his sights set on a new weight division. He's looking at becoming a 4-division world champion. But the problem for him is that he's going to have to get through Stephen Fulton to make that happen. And Stephen Fulton, man, cool boy Steph is a highly skilled fighter in his own right. Fast hands, fast feet, understands angles well, great jab that he knows how to use, understands distance. Man, this is not going to be an easy fight for either man. I could not be more excited going into this one. Cool boy Steph, bigger man, champion in the division, but he's coming into this fight as the underdog. He's the one who's traveling, going all the way over to Japan, to the home country of Inoue, and he's looking to pull the upset. Now the question is he going to be able to make that happen, right? There's a lot of people thinking that Inoue is going to be able to come out victorious in this one. And I got to be honest, when I first heard this fight announced, when I first heard this thing talked about, my initial reaction without doing any analysis at all was that Inoue was going to come out with the victory. Then as the fight gets a little bit closer, I'm starting to study things a little bit more and more, I'm seeing my analysis confirmed. More and more, I'm seeing ways in which Inoue is going to come out with the victory in this fight. But as I sit here right now today, I'm going with Stephen Fulton, man. I think Fulton's going to be able to come out victorious in this fight. And really, what it all comes down to is the power of Inoue. That's what's going to be the deciding factor. Now, a lot of people would expect that if I was saying the power of Inoue was going to be the deciding factor in this fight, that I would be picking him to win. Like I mentioned, this dude has been tearing through people in that right hand and that left hook. He's got power both ways, and he is just relentless in the way that he applies it. But then something came to me, and I realized I don't think that the power that he has is quite the way people portray it. It's not like it's this Deontay Wilder power. I don't think he's going to be able to go out there and catch the absolute top guys in this division at 122 pounds and that he's going to be able to lay them out with one shot. What I see happening is what we saw where it's more of an accumulation of punches. I think about with this fight with Paul Butler and what he said. I got caught with a lot of clean shots by Inoue. He was catching me with a lot of right hands, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I didn't feel him. I was able to walk through it. I was able to make it happen. And you look at that fight with Paul Butler, he's not lying, man. He got caught with a lot of shots, and he was able to withstand all of it right up until he got caught with that body shot. Now, this was at a lighter weight division. I think when we see him move up to 122 pounds, I think he's going to be able to crack. I think he's going to be a very hard puncher, but I don't think he's going to have this electric shock where you feel it in your boots when you get caught with it, where you're worried and you change your game plan when you feel with the power because you're worried about what's going to come back. I don't think that that's what we're going to see. And that's what changes everything, because if he doesn't have the type of power that's going to make a man change his game plan, I think we're going to be able to see Fulton outbox him. I think we're going to be able to see Fulton win at distance. He's the bigger man. He's the longer man. He's got a great jab. We've heard it talked about how he can be in training and you shoot that jab 400 times over the course of a training session. We've seen him in these fights where he doubles and triples it up. We've seen how sharp he is with it. We've seen him back up against the ropes and kind of use it as a counter. We've seen him stand out in the distance and use it. Being the longer guy and being able to control that distance, I think it's going to be huge. I think if he's able to constantly work that jab and keep it in Inoue's face, he'll be able to make him reset a little bit. And look, I'll be the first to admit Inoue's going to come over the top of that jab. He's great with that right hand, and we've seen Fulton get caught over the top of that jab a few times in the past. But that's where the power comes into play, because if Inoue doesn't have the power in that shot coming over the top to make Fulton change his game plan, to make Fulton keep that left hand in his pocket because he's worried about getting countered, if Inoue doesn't have the power to do that at 122 pounds, then Fulton's going to be right back on that stick. Fulton's going to go right back out there and be able to make things happen. I think Inoue, if he's not able to be able to really dictate the distance, if he's not really able to close that gap and spring forward and do the damage that he's known for and that he wants to do, I think he's going to have some trouble, because he's known at moving in straight lines, and Fulton works great angles. He uses great lateral movement. So he's going to be able to get Inoue to come forward. He's going to be able to get him to leap. He's going to be able to get him to reach a little bit. And then he's going to be able to counter with it and work. Fulton's got great defense, man. He's going to be able to get underneath shots. He's going to be able to get out. I think Inoue likes to come forward and be aggressive. Not overly so, not crazy. And Fulton will be able to let him do that, and then he'll be able to take advantage of that. So, man, don't get me wrong. Inoue is a phenomenal fighter, man. He's got great speed. He understands angles well himself, but in my opinion, he uses it a little bit more offensively. One that comes to my mind is that knockdown that he got against Donaire in that rematch. Dude, he just backed out just a half step, took this beautiful angle, and that was just a short right hand that it couldn't have been better. Donaire never saw it coming, caught him right on the chin, and completely changed the complexion of that fight. But that's also one that made me think about the power again. Look at how bad he had him hurt at the end of the first round, and look at all the clean punches that Inoue landed in that second round. That took a lot of clean punches before he finally got Donaire out of there. If he was just this phenomenal, ferocious puncher that these people are making him out to be, I think he would have been able to get him out there a little bit early, because it wasn't like Donaire was, very defensively astute. He wasn't very defensively sound in that second round. He was getting caught with shots, and a lot of them. And it took a lot of them before he got out of there. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that against Fulton. I don't know if those shots are going to have quite that same effect. And I think that was going to end up being the difference. So I'm going to go with Fulton in this one. I think he's going to be able to pull the upset. Obviously, by being a significant underdog, I'm loving the line because I think he's going to come out with the victory. So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't jump in the comments and tell me about how I'm underestimating Inoue, because I think the man is brilliant. I think that he's incredibly physically talented. I think he's got a high ring IQ. I love the way that he's able to go in there and make all this happen. But I just think the styles make fights, and he's going to have a little bit of trouble this one. I think that jab and that movement, the defensive prowess to be able to, the ability to punch in combination, tie up on the inside, then get back out, back up against the ropes, and then work the angles and get Inoue to come in and commit and counter him, to get him to freeze with the feints, to get him to just reset constantly with the jab. I think it's going to be a tough, hard-fought battle, but at the end of the day, Fulton comes out with a decision victory. So let me know what you guys think. Am I underestimating what Inoue brings? Will it be too difficult to get that decision victory over in the home country in Japan? Let me know what you guys think.